co-host, no other than Sales and Marketing Manager from Usana, Indonesia. Please welcome Ronnie Faroni.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hi,
The
Ronnie.
associate from Thailand and also from Indonesia.
And I heard, Ronnie, that we're not just live in Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand, but we are also live in the Asia Pacific region. So we have our friends in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Taiwan, and also in other parts of the globe, like Canada, North America, and other places. So this is the wonder of technology because we can reach a lot of people via our webinar. So Ronnie, what are we expecting this morning?
Yeah. So we create this training to our associate how to grow and greatly Istana. That's the objective training for today.
Joyce. Yes, and that is for today, but we will want to remind everyone that this is a series. So this is going to be 9 talks. So that there's going to be 9 Thursdays that we will be having powerful speakers, diamond directors, star diamond directors, and brand ambassadors. So just to give you a sneak peek of what's happening in the next Thursdays. So we have the next lineup, we have Ryan and Caleb, Jonathan and Nathaniel, Doc Edu and Ranel, Ed Miguel and Precious. Ed Miguel and Jack, Francis Kong and Michelle, Robert and Raj, and Precious and Ivy. So these are a lot to watch out in the next coming episodes of our Sustaining Momentum.
Yes. Joyce, if we take the participant in our webinar, if we combine, I think more than 1,000 participants in this webinar, Joyce.
Wow. So we still are waiting for some, but while we are doing that, let me just know where from the parts of the globe are you coming from. So you can type in our chat box your location. Where are you located right now? Of course, not in your house, okay? The country where you live or the province. Okay.
So we are very excited for this training this morning.
Philippines, Japan. Hello, Japan. Taiwan, Batangas. We're also having people from Pampanga, Baguio, and many places in the Philippines and in the world. Okay. So before we start, Ronnie, I'm sure they're all very excited to listen to our speakers. Let me just give you some house rules. So number 1, to of course lessen distraction, we want to request for you to turn off your videos. Okay? And that will also lessen the bandwidth that we are using for Zoom, so we can have uninterrupted learning this morning. And if, for those of you who cannot join the Zoom meeting anymore, if we max out at 1,000 participants, you can always look for us in the Facebook user group, closed user group. Just type in facebook.com/groups/sustaining momentum, and you just need to provide your ID number for us to accept your membership. So that you can also watch on our Facebook page. And we would want to encourage everyone not to stream our training this morning, because this is only exclusive for Usana Associates. Okay, Ronnie? So I think we're all set. Can you please introduce our first speaker for this morning?
Sure. So we will start the training, everyone, and we have 2 great speakers. And for the first one, we will invite the executive one-star diamond director. But before we start the training, I will read his bio. Let me show my screen. Yes. So Don King Batak is registered nurse and midwife. He worked previously as a staff nurse, clinical instructor, and also the clinical coordinator of 5 universities, a national reviewer for nursing and midwifery license for exam. And then Seeking freedom, he started his business at the age of 25 together with his wife Rosemary. They made tremendous achievement in their USANA business to include annual rank investment, Philippine Top Growth Award, and also the Philippine Top Income Earner. They also received the PPPS Hall of Fame. Wow, the prestigious award given to the associate with the highest lifetime achievement. Recently, they became a part of USANA Million Dollar Club, an esteemed circle of USANA associates who have already earned total 1 million US dollar. Wow. And because of USANA, they were able to travel to more than 70 countries. Wow, he passionate in leading his sport ministry in Cebu and disciplines group facilitator. He also support a Ignite Foundation in Cebu. So please welcome a loving husband and a father of three amazing kids. Please welcome DK Batak, Executive One-Star Diamond Director from Philippines.
Hello! So good day to all of you. Good day to the USANA distributors in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and most especially here in the Philippines. Yes. Okay, so thank you for the introduction, Sir Ronnie and Ma'am Joyce. Now, friends, before we go to our main topic, I just want to emphasize two things. Okay, number one, I really want to congratulate
Not many years ago, there was a man who felt the fire in his soul. And through one man's vision, we feel the difference deep in our.
You know why? One of the motivational speaker in the Philippines speak on this. He said, if you want to have a profitable business, there are three categories that you should consider. Number one, the products must be essential. It must be food, healthcare delivery system, PPEs, or vitamins. That's number one. Number two, the business should the business can be done or should be done online. And number three, the business should have a good delivery system. Now, friends, I am so proud to tell all of you that USANA, okay, what we share is an amazing opportunity that can really help other people. We have an amazing products that can really help their health. We have a strong online support and a powerful website. And of course, we have a good delivery system. That's why, friends around the Asia Pacific, I am encouraging all of you, be aggressive, be joyful, and be confident in sharing this wonderful opportunity. Now, my topic is all about leadership styles. But before I go there, friends, we have to understand that leadership refers to the process of influencing the behavior of people in the manner that they strive to achieve a certain goal. John Maxwell says, leadership is influence. A leader should have the ability to maintain a good interpersonal relations with their business partners. Because true leaders with their leadership skills play an important role in the growth of any organization. Friends, through leadership, we can empower people. Through leadership, we can inspire people. We can lead change. We can share vision. We can create success. And through leadership, we can be a blessing to many. That's why, friends, before I go to my main PowerPoint, I just want to encourage all of you. I'll give you 1 minute. Kindly reflect on this. How's my leadership? Rate it 1 to 10, 10 is being the highest. Ask yourself, as of the moment, how's my leadership? I'll give you 1 minute for that. Okay, time's up. Okay. Now, do you see my PowerPoint, Ma'am Joyce, Sir Ronnie?
Yes.
Okay, let's proceed to the leadership style and theories. Okay, now friends, remember this. There is no perfect leadership style. There is no perfect leadership theories. There are advantages and disadvantages. And there are so many leadership theories, okay? But I chose five theories and style that I think very applicable in doing our business. Okay? So the first leadership style is what I call, or what we call, the charismatic leadership. It is called the inspiring. Why? Because charismatic leadership style relies on the charm and persuasiveness of the leader. Okay? Charismatic leaders are driven by their convictions and commitment to their cause. So what are the key words? They are charm and persuasiveness. Now, what are the characteristics of a charismatic leadership? Okay, number one, they are a man of vision. They are a man of vision, meaning they have a goal with timeline. Okay? Friends, that is the definition of vision. It is a goal with a timeline. If you have a goal but you don't have any timeline, that is not a vision. That is a dream. And if you want to be successful in this business, you must have a powerful vision. Now, the good thing about charismatic leadership, they have a powerful, weighty vision. That's why they are called a man of vision. Number two, they are so confident and they are so optimistic. Okay? Now, friends, this is the reason why their downlines follow them. Okay? Because you have to understand the level of leaders' confidence is parallel to the level of downlines' commitment. Okay? If the confidence is high, the commitment of downlines is also high. So these people, these leaders, they have a strong confidence and they are so optimistic. They see the opportunities in every difficulties. Number three, they are so creative and they are risk takers. They are willing to get outside the box. They are not afraid with risk because they understand the real risk is doing nothing. Okay? Another, they are so determined and they are good in communication. Okay? They are determined because of their vision, and these are the people who are so comfortable. They are so at ease in talking to people, in talking in a group. They are so good in speaking with the guests and doing closing techniques. These are the characteristics of a charismatic leadership. Okay, now, what are the advantages of charismatic leadership? Number one, charismatic leaders inspire people to work together for a common cause. Number two, organizations are committed to a central mission or to a central goal. Next, charismatic-led organizations tend to be cohesive because their business partners have a clear purpose. So these are the advantages of a charismatic leadership. Now, let's talk about Mentor DK. What are the disadvantages of a charismatic leadership? The disadvantage is number one, leaders may develop a tunnel vision or arrogance. That's the disadvantage number one. Number two, organizations can become dependent on charismatic leaders and may suffer if he or she retires. Number three, charismatic leaders sometimes becomes unresponsive to their business partners. Number four, these leaders may not learn from their mistakes. Okay, because for them, what they do is effective. And lastly, charismatic leaders may believe that they are above the law, committing financial or ethical violations. So these are the disadvantages of a charismatic leadership. Now, let's do practical application. Mentor DK, when is the best time for me to use the charismatic leadership? The best time for you to use your charismatic leadership or the charismatic leadership is during closing and follow-up for the guests and clients. If your downlines have guests, if your business partners have prospects, it is the best time to step on. Okay? Because closing technique and follow-up technique are very efficient with this charismatic leadership because of their charisma and the ability to persuade people. Number two, they're also good for new business partners or new downlines. Why? Because they are called the inspiring. Okay? For 1 minute talk, for 5 minutes talk, they can really inspire new associates. Number three, they're also applicable for people who are hitting their lifetime matching bonus runners. Okay, because charismatic leadership can pass the vision, okay, to the people who are running for this bonus. Also, it is applicable for business partners who's in molding process. Mentor DK, what is molding process? Molding process, that is the area wherein your business is being challenged. Why? It is a process to mold you. It is a process to develop you. Okay, so during this time, charismatic leadership is very applicable. Okay, so we're done with our first theory and leadership style. Did you learn from that? Okay, I hope you're learning so far, friends. Okay, let's go to our next leadership style. By the way, charismatic leadership, let us always meet each other with smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. By the way, friends, okay, this is a practical tip. If someone will ask you, for example, Ronnie, where are you working right now? Be confident and be joyful, saying, I am a distributor of USANA Health Sciences, giving a genuine smile. That person might forget where you're working, but that person will always remember the genuine smile that you give to that person. So always have that genuine smile, friends. Can you smile right now, even though I'm not seeing you? Okay, let's go to our next leadership style. Okay, the next leadership style is what we call democratic leadership. It is known as the participative. Okay? Now, democratic leadership is a style based on a mutual respect. There is a collaboration. There is a strong and powerful collaboration between leaders and business partners. The democratic leadership style places significant responsibility on leaders and their business partners. Now, what are the characteristics of a democratic leadership? Number one, they are so just and fair. That is one of the beautiful things about democratic leadership. Number two, they are good in engagement and they are role models. Now, friends, you have to understand, connecting to your downlines is different from engaging to your downlines. Let me repeat that. Connecting is different from engaging. If you really want to be successful in this business, you have to be intentional, okay, in engaging to your downlines. Mentor DK, what is engagement? What is the definition of engagement? Engagement is a reciprocal process. It is a two-way process. If the upline will talk, the downlines will listen. If the downlines will listen, the upline, if the downlines will talk, the upline will listen. So there are a two-way process. And if you're doing that, okay, and one of the characteristics of a democratic leadership, they're so good in this. That's why they are a good role model as well. Next, they are forward thinker. You know, friends, democratic leaders, they don't dwell on the past. They don't dwell on the past. They learn from the past and they move forward. Okay? Because for them, the only way for a business is move forward. This is a great characteristic of a democratic leaders. Next, number 5, they are team-oriented. Okay? And every time they do decisions, they always ask for the consensus of their business partners. Before they do a decision, before they do a system, they will always ask, they will always consider their business partners. And lastly, friends, democratic leaders, they are what? Relationship builder. And I really want to emphasize this. You know why? Friends, Usana is a relationship business. It is a relationship business. You have to invest emotions to your downlines. As much as possible, you really need to love them. Okay? Inside and outside Usana. Relationship is also important with your clients, with your users. Relationship is also important with your cross lines. Relationship is also important with the corporate staff. So democratic leadership is really a good style of leadership. Now, what are the advantages of a democratic leadership? Number one, associates have increased job satisfaction and a sense of empowerment. Number two, relationships are built on mutual trust between the leader and the downlines. Number three, attrition is lower among associates with a stronger commitment to perform. Next, productivity increases as a result of a solution-centric mindset. Now, creativity and innovation increase among associates through team collaboration. So these are the advantages of a democratic leadership. Now, what are the disadvantages? Okay, disadvantage number one, leaders can become overly dependent on the expertise and experience of associates. That's number one. Number two, collaboration can consume valuable time, getting inputs from the people who aren't in agreement. And lastly, if you have a fast and incisive decisions, it may be difficult or even impossible, resulting to missed deadlines. Okay? Now, practical application, Mentor DK. Democratic leadership is applicable in what area of our business? Excuse me. Number one, it is really applicable in creating a momentum in your organization. Number two, it is also good in empowering your team or your group. Number three, it is a good leadership style wherein the learning environment is so conducive. Number four, it is a best, okay, it is one of the best leadership style, okay, that you can utilize to have a good duplication process, delegation process, and multiplication process. And later on, I will explain on this. Okay. So in democratic leadership, honest disagreement is a good sign of progress. It means that everyone can share their thoughts, everyone can share their suggestions and comments, and the leaders, they are so teachable, they are open-minded, and they welcome honest disagreement. That's why this type of leadership leads to progress. So friends, do you think democratic leadership, okay, can really utilized by your organization or your team? Yes, okay. So let's go now to our third leadership style. Okay. Our third leadership style is what we call transformational leadership. By the way, friends, let's recap. The first is what we call, okay, charismatic. Second is what we call democratic. Third is what we call transformational leadership. They are called the quiet leaders. Mentor DK, why quiet leaders? Because these leaders, okay, they are so busy in doing their daily execution. They are so busy in their actions and they have no time for talking. These are the leaders who walk their talk. Okay? That's why they are called the quiet leaders. I do have friends from Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. I do hope you're taking notes because these are the leadership style that can really help us. Okay? Now, their style tends to support to use a rapport, inspiration, or empathy to engage followers. They are known to possess courage, confidence, and the willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good. And the transformational leader motivates associates not through their talks, not through their trainings, but they motivate their associates because they walk the talk. Okay? They are really a good preacher. Okay? Next, what are the characteristics of a transformational leadership? Number one, they are very well organized, friends. Okay? They have a daily schedule. They are really intentional to follow their schedule. They allot specific time for these activities. They are very well organized. Okay. Next, they're so proactive. Okay, what is the meaning of this? Even though the situation is bad, they always learn from it. They see the opportunities in every difficulties. That is one of the characteristics of a transformational leadership. Number three, they lead the way. They lead the way so that their downlines will know, okay, the path towards success. They are really a good leaders. Okay? Number four, they are also team-oriented. The reason why they are so willing and intentional to do execution is because they want to be copied by their downlines. They are so team-oriented. Okay? Lastly, they are respected and they are inspiration because of their actions. They make difficult decisions and they entertain new ideas. So these are the characteristics of a transformational leadership. Okay? Now, what are the advantages of a transformational leadership? The advantage of transformational leadership is number one, they are excellent at communicating new ideas. That's number one. Number two, they are good at balancing short-term vision and long-term goals. Why? Because they are very systematic. Okay? They have a good system, they have a good program for short-term vision and long-term visions. Okay? Next, they experience building strong relations and establishing mutual trust. And lastly, they have integrity and high emotional intelligence or empathy with others. Now, what are the disadvantages of a transformational leadership? Number one, it can lead to business partners burnout. Okay? Number two, this is not appropriate. Okay, transformational leaders, okay, they don't handle appropriately the seasons of business. Mentor DK, what is the seasons of business? Our business, it has a planting season, it has a growing season, it has a harvest season. Okay? For transformational leaders, their mindset is I need to execute, and execute. Downlines should execute always. That's why sometimes they don't handle appropriately the seasons of business. Next, it will bring immediate pressure for new associates. So this leadership style is not appropriate for new downlines. Okay? Because it may give abrupt or immediate pressure for new associates. Okay? So practical application, transformational leadership is applicable in the following area of our business. Number one, it is really good for people or downlines who's hitting their lifetime matching bonus. But I am talking to those downlines who are committed. Okay, I am pertaining to those downlines who have the right attitude. Next, they're also good. Okay, it is also a good leadership style in helping our downlines for their travel incentive goals. Also, it is good for rank advancement. It is really good for team goal. And friends, remember this. This is a good type of leadership if you want to bounce back from attrition. I'll repeat that. This is one of the best leadership style if you really want to bounce back from attrition. Why? The only way for you to bounce back from attrition is for you to execute. The only way for you to bounce back from attrition is for your action. The only way for you to bounce back from the attrition is for you to have the courage to move. So transformational leadership is really applicable if you really want to bounce back from attrition. Okay, are we learning so far, friends from Asia Pacific? Okay, I can hear you from Malaysia. I can hear you from Thailand. Okay. And syempre, I can hear you from the Philippines. Okay. You know, friends, I really want to compliment the corporate for building this very good series or modular training. This module can really help a lot of distributors in Asia Pacific. And in Canada, there's associates from Canada. Hello. Okay, now, business partners, this is also applicable for business partners who exhibit high level of commitment. Okay. Now, transformational leadership quote, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more, then you are a leader. That is transformational leadership. So friends, we're done with charismatic, we're done with democratic, we're done with transformational. Last two, leadership style. Are you okay there? Okay. Let's go now to the servant leadership, the service. Okay. So what is servant leadership? Servant leadership is a practice that enriches the lives of individuals, builds better organization, and ultimately create a more just and caring organization. Okay? What are the characteristics of a servant leadership? They are a good listener. They are really good listener. They empathize to their downlines. They bring healing. Okay? Now, friends, let me stop here for a while. You know, friends, sorry for my next words. I don't want to offend anyone. But what I observed, some of the leaders have this attitude of, I know it already. Okay? They don't give chance for their downlines to talk or to verbalize their feelings. Because in their mind, I know what you need because I've been there. Friends, that is not healthy and it is not therapeutic. Servant leadership, they are really good in listening to their downlines. Before they talk, they listen. And that is the reason we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And because of that character and personality, servant leaders, they bring healing to their downlines because their concerns are really genuine. Okay? Next, they are so aware in what's happening in their organization. They are loving. This is one of the best characteristic of a servant leadership. Okay? They really invest emotions. They love their downlines inside and outside USANA. They treat their downlines as their friends. They treat their downlines as a family member. They really love. The relationship is not based through the points, but the relationship is based through love. You know, friends, kindly write this down. If you really want to have a long-lasting business legacy, you should write this in your dream board. Love is the secret of a long-lasting legacy. I will repeat that. Love is the secret of a long-lasting legacy. If you love your downlines, that is one of the greatest things that you can give to them. And back, they will love you more. Next, they are good stewardship. Okay, they truly understand that their business partners are God-given to them. So they really need, these leaders, servant leaders need to take care of the flocks. That as a good steward. And lastly, they are so committed to grow. Okay, they are really committed for the growth of their downlines. So these are the characteristics of a servant leadership. Now, what are the advantages of a servant leaders? Number 1, servant leadership can improve an organization over the long term. That is the good thing about servant leadership. That's why this is one of the leadership style that is really appropriate for building a solid long-term business. Okay? Number two, caring treatment of associates often encourage similar treatment of the organizational customers. Because you love your downlines, okay, your downlines also love their downlines. They also love their clients. They also love their customers. Okay? That is one of the good traits of it. And lastly, servant leaders attract associates' trust, which can improve the credibility of the organization's culture. Now, what are the negative or what are the things that need to be improved on in terms of servant leadership? Disadvantage number one, leaders might spend too much time on service, neglecting the following: personal production, business growth, or personal rank advancement. In the Philippines, we called it pure service. Okay? Friends, I would like to encourage you, being a servant leader is good, but do not forget that you really need to produce. You really need to grow. You really need to rank advance because your downlines will copy your pace. Okay? So, what are the practical application of a servant leadership? It is applicable in the following area. Number one, it is really good for building momentum. Okay? Next, it is also good for the group empowerment. It is also good for learning environment. And friends, this is one of the best leadership style if you want to keep your business partners. This is good for keeping your downlines. Okay, so servant leadership, people don't care how much you know until they feel how much you care. In USANA quote, this is the USANA quote, your downlines don't care how much you know until they feel how much you care. Friends, let me encourage all of you, especially uplines and leaders, your rank does not define your worth. I will repeat that. Your rank does not define your worth. Your relationship to your downlines, that will define your worth. If you value relationship more than points, if you value relationship more than rank advancement, high commission, passive income, it will just follow. Build first a good relationship with your business partners because they are entrusted to your leadership. Are we okay? Are we okay so far? From the Canada, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia? Yes, okay. Are you learning so far? Okay. Okay, now we're done with servant leadership. Now we're going to our last leadership style. And I can say this leadership style is really a good style because it is called the situational leadership or the flexible. Wow, you're flexible. Okay. Now, situational leadership is called the flexible because they have the ability to adapt to changes. This is the good thing about situational leadership. Let me define what is situational leadership. It adapts to the existing work environment and the needs of the organization. Situational leadership is not based on specific skills of the leader. Instead, he or she modifies the style of management that suit to the requirements of the organization. One key of situational leadership is the word adaptability. They are really good in adapting in situations, with people, with changes in environment, with the crisis and everything. Now, leaders must be able to move on from one leadership style to another to meet the changing needs of an organization and associates. These leaders have the insight to understand when to change and what leadership style or strategy fits on every situation. That's why, friends, situational leadership is very good style of leadership. I told you a while ago, there is no perfect leadership style. Okay? But the combination of those leadership style will really help you to create a good organization. That's why situational leadership must be intentional, okay, in our leadership style. Okay, now, what are the characteristics of a situational leadership? They are flexible, they are good in coaching. Okay, they can coach people. Okay, they can adjust to people. They can adjust to the situation. They can adjust even to the goal. They can pattern their coaching based on the situation. They are good in participation. Okay, they're also good in delegating. That's why situational leadership can create leaders. Okay, they have high integrity. They have the courage. They always get out in their comfort zones. And they have a clear vision. So these are the characteristics of a situational leadership. Okay? And lastly, friends, they are humble. They are also teachable. Okay? Now, what are the advantages of a situational leadership? Number one, easy to use. When a leader has the right style, he or she knows it. Number two, it is so simple. Why? All the leaders needs to do is to evaluate the situation, evaluate the character of the people or the downlines, and apply the correct leadership style. Excuse me. Next, intuitive appeal, which the right type of leader style is comfortable. Okay? And lastly, leaders have the permission to change management style as they see fit. So these are the good things about situational leadership. Now, what are the disadvantages? Okay. Situational leadership don't have disadvantage, but these situational leadership are not applicable for leaders who are fixated to one style. Okay? This is not also applicable for leaders who don't grow. This is also not applicable for leaders who are complacent. And lastly, this is not applicable for leaders who are not teachable. Okay? Now, friends, I want to share to you one of the practical example. Okay? How situational leadership help a company to achieve a massive growth. Okay, I'll discuss this. This is Steve Jobs and the company Apple. Okay? What happened from Apple is this. Apple was a successful company from 1976 to 1985 before it almost failed in the mid-1990s. Then it became successful again precisely because the leaders adapts. Okay? Now, in other words, Apple had a vision, Apple lost it, then Apple regained it. Let me share the story. In the mid-1990s, Gateway, Microsoft, Sun, and other companies reportedly zeroed in on Apple as the target. Years later, many of those brands disappeared, yet Apple survived. Apple survived because Steve Jobs learned how to adapt. Jobs started out as a charismatic and laissez-faire leader, and Apple soared. Then he became an autocratic, and the Apple board of directors requested his resignation. Now, after 10 years, okay, what happened? Okay, he returned to Apple. And he utilized a combined several leadership style and added democratic leadership style to his forte. He hired other experienced leaders and entrusted them to excel. Jobs encouraged his leader, designer Ivy, and he mentored Tim Cook, now the CEO. He let them make key decisions. That's why Apple survived. So through the years, this is the evolution of Apple logo. But friends, behind that evolution of Apple logo is the ability of Steve Jobs to adapt to the situation. Okay? From being charismatic, laissez-faire, to being autocratic, then being a participative or democratic, that's his style of leadership. So I really encourage each one of you, friends, to really embrace this situational leadership. Okay? Now, we have to understand, friends, that the USANA journey, okay, it is a process. It is really a process. Now, before we go to this topic, friends, I really want to emphasize this, okay? Right now, okay, the USANA as a worldwide business is really growing. Okay, there is a lot of rank advancement in different markets, in different countries. Okay, even the Philippines have a massive growth right now. And friends, what I observe are three categories. Okay, what are the three factors I think that brings growth, okay, to the Philippine market? Okay, number one, what I observe is the superb and remarkable corporate support. Okay? The corporate right now are giving their best to support their associates. And they really giving their everything, okay, just to make the business more effective and efficient for distributors. That is number one that I observed. Number two, one of the reason why the USANA Philippine have a high or massive growth right now, it's because of the leaders, the diamond and the star diamonds, the ability of the leaders to adapt to changes. We all know right now that this is a time of pandemic. Okay, this is the time of the pandemic. And when the government announced that we will be locked down, there will be a quarantine, all of us, okay, all of us was shocked for the moment. But what the leaders did here in the USANA Philippines, they adjust. Give them 1 week, they will really adjust. They will create new program, they will create new style, they will create online videos, they will really adjust. Give them 1 week, they will adjust. Give them 2 weeks, they're already comfortable with the new system. Give them 3 weeks, their team is already producing. So that is one of the reasons why the USANA right now is having a massive growth. The ability of the leaders to adapt in the situation. And third is, what I see is the collaboration. The collaboration of the leaders. Right now, here in the Philippines, there is a strong and powerful collaboration between diamonds and star diamonds that really helped the distributors. Because one of our pastor heads says this. Okay, he says that immature leaders compete while mature leaders collaborate. That's why I am so blessed, okay, that I am surrounded with leaders that are willing to collaborate. And one of the best tool right now is the program of Mentor Duarte and Mentor Caleb. It's named that It's Time. Okay, it is a platform wherein they interview different people, they interview successful people outside USANA, and it's just an overflowing conversation wherein most of the associates really appreciated that. So this is really a good time. That's why I told you a while ago, friends, be confident, be joyful, be enthusiastic in sharing this business, our products, because we have a good support from our uplines and from our corporate. Now, friends, you have to understand that the USANA, it is a journey. And every journey, there is a learning process. You really have to understand that. You cannot skip a ladder, okay? Because that ladder is important for you to be molded, to be a better leader, to be a better associate. Okay? And situational leadership is really applicable if you want to train or guide your downlines toward growth. Let me give you a practical example. Okay, if I am a leader and I have a new associate, if I am a leader and I have a new associate, the name of my new associate is Joyce. Yes, okay, Joyce, okay? Joyce decided to be part of my organization. Now, it's only a joke, Ma'am Joyce. Stay in the corporate. We really need you in the corporate. Okay? Now, for example, Joyce started her business, it will always start in the first ladder. And during the first ladder, ABC is important. What is ABC? Attitude, belief, and commitment. Me as a leader, I really need to level up the belief factor of Joyce. I really need to guide her to strengthen her commitment. And I really need to empower her to have the right attitude in doing this business. Now, what is the best style of leadership that I can use? I can use a charismatic leadership. Because charismatic leadership is a good leadership style that can help the attitude, belief, and commitment of my new downlines named Joyce. See, friends, are you learning so far? This is the practical example, okay? You can also screenshot this, okay? You can also have this presentation if you like to. Now, once I guided Joyce to level up her belief, her commitment, and empower her to have the right attitude in doing this business, Joyce will now go up to the second ladder. And the second ladder is named as the Yes Coach Attitude Ladder. Okay? Now, what happened here is this. Joyce really want to learn from me. Joyce really want to have an engagement with me. Okay? That is the goal of Joyce. Okay? Now, me, as the upline of Joyce, as the leader of Joyce, I will use now the democratic leadership style. Because democratic leadership style is all about engagement. Okay? It is more about engagement. I will be intentional to be engaged to Joyce, so Joyce will be able to see the big picture of the USANA business. So from charismatic leadership style, I adjust or I adapt to the next leadership style, which is democratic. Are we learning so far, friends? Are we learning so far? Okay, thank you. Now, after that, from the Yes Coach Attitude Ladder, Joyce will now go up to the next ladder, and that is the Learning Ladder. Okay, that is now the Learning Ladder. During this time, Joyce is so intentional to know more about the business. Joyce is intentional to know more about the skills, the product knowledge. She is intentional to empty her cup, okay, to learn more about the business. And during this time, as a leader, as an upline, I will use now different type of leadership again. I will use the servant leadership. Okay? Because servant leadership focus on your downlines. Okay? So I will use that so that Joyce will learn. Okay? Are we learning so far, friends? Okay. Next, after learning, Joyce will go up to the next level, and that is teaching. Okay. From teaching, okay, now I will really now I need to teach Joyce, okay, how to apply all the learnings that she learned. Okay, because you have to understand, friends, kindly write this down. Okay, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge, you have a lot of head knowledge, you have a lot of learnings, but you don't apply. That's why, based on the scripture, sometimes knowledge leads to arrogance. Okay, because these are the leaders that they are really good in talking, but there's no action. Do you get it? Now, what is wisdom? Wisdom is applied knowledge. Wisdom is applied knowledge. Okay? And I truly encourage each one of you, friends. Okay, I truly encourage each one of you. This series of training will really benefit and help you to be a good leaders. Okay? But you need to do abrupt application. Once you learn, do abrupt application. Once you learn, do abrupt application. Do not delay your application. Because once you delay application, okay, the idea of procrastination, the idea of complacency can enter your beautiful mind. So you have to understand, friends, once you learn, abrupt application. That is one key to to success in this business. Now, I really want to teach Joyce to do application. Now, the best teacher is actions and it is not words. So this time, I will use what I call transformational leadership. Because transformational leadership is all about execution, all about action. Okay? And I will let my action teach Joyce how to do the business. Are you with me, friends? Okay, now, after teaching, Joyce will now go to the next stage. Joyce will now be duplicated. All that I know, okay, I will duplicate it to Joyce. My mindset, I will duplicate it to Joyce. Duplication is so important. And during this time, democratic leadership is suitable or applicable because duplication requires more engagement. So you see, friends, okay, situational leadership is so effective because you are adjusting your leadership style based on the ladder of our new associates. Now, after duplication, okay, I will now train Joyce to be a leader. I will now give her task, and that is the process of delegation. During this process of delegation, okay, delegation is a process wherein you are creating now leaders under your organization. I am now creating the mindset that Joyce is already a leader. So I will tell Joyce, Joyce, it is now your responsibility to take care of your team. It is now your responsibility to do online trainings. It is now your responsibility to empower your downlines. Joyce, right now, you are a leader. That's why I delegate tasks to you. Now, after the delegation, okay, Joyce will be a leader. Then after that, Joyce, I will now tell you, I will now instruct you to create leaders under your organization. And that is what we call multiplication. Okay, I will instruct now. Joyce, congratulations. I observed you for 1 month, okay? And for 1 month, I've noticed that you are really a good leader now. You handle your organization very well. Your decisions are good. You are adjusting to the situation. Now, Joyce, I would like to congratulate you because you are a good leader right now. Joyce, I have a task for you. Okay, my task for you is this. Joyce, you need to create leaders under your organization. This is the perfect time that you create leaders under your organization. Because in this business, we don't create followers, we create leaders. And that is the process of multiplication. Now, friends, I will tell you this. If Joyce will be able to create a lot of leaders under her organization, what will happen? Massive production. What will happen? Team production. And what will happen? That will give passive income. Now, friends, let me, reinforce this ladder. For me, this is one of the most crucial ladder. Why? Because once Joyce experienced the passive income, there is a tendency that she might be complacent. Okay? There's a possibility the idea of complacency and procrastination enter her mind. So for me, to prevent that, okay, look at me. For me, to prevent that from happening, I will use transformational leadership combined with democratic leadership. What is my point? Okay, when Joyce have this passive income stage, I will be intentional to be engaged with her while doing my personal production. So that Joyce will realize, even though I am a star diamond, I'm still executing. Okay, so my actions will tell her, hey Joyce, you have no rights to be complacent. You have no rights to procrastinate. The only way is to move forward for you to get your star diamonds. Okay? So I do hope, friends, that you learn from this ladder to Usana success. And you know what's the good thing about this? As Joyce goes up to every ladder, she's also learning the different leadership style that she can use to train and guide her business partners. So always remember, friends, Stick to your vision, adapt to changes, overcome obstacle, and win. We are designed to be fruitful. We are designed to be productive. And we are designed to be joyful. I would like to thank the USANA Corporate for building this wonderful opportunity, okay, to help our business partners. Truly, I am so grateful to all of you. USANA Corporate, we love you. Thank you so much. And USANA distributors from the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Canada, I do hope you learn from this. Take care and keep moving forward. Win. Thank you, Ma'am Joyce.
Much. Thank you so much, DK. Don't worry, I'm not yet an old one. I hope you are all learning. Thank you so much for another program that you have imparted this morning, DK. So that's what our first part is consistent of, the leadership theories. Okay, so before we continue, let me just give you a short pause so that we know if you are all also listening on your end and to know what you is on your mind. So if you can see our poll, okay, for those who are in Zoom, I'm asking what stage of leadership are you in right now and in your USANA business? Okay, so you can choose one and then let's see who among you here have been a charismatic leader, democratic, transformational, servant, and situational leadership. Okay, so I have all our answers. So there are a lot of servant leader. Okay. There are a lot of servant leader in our Zoom meeting right now. So with that, thank you so much, DK. And we're moving on towards our next part of the program, which is of course our practical application speaker. So we have prepared background or a brief profile for our next speaker. And let me just read it to you. So our next speaker is Duard Recalde. As a guide and mentor to several thousands, he has over 2 decades of experience and success in the MLM industry. People reach their potential from all over the world. He is the father to 8 lovely children, a loving husband, and outstanding inspiration to all red who wish to give their loved ones the life they deserve and more. However, things did not start easy for Duarte. After 5 years in high school and 11 years in college, he was easily seen as the black sheep and happy-go-lucky guy in his younger years. Still, he had big dreams and knew that employment wasn't the path for him to turn them into reality. And after feeling adrift in life, facing one struggle after another, an opportunity in the MLM industry was presented to him and changed his life forever. Now, along with his equally high-achieving wife, Rosanne, Duarte has acquired several awards and acknowledgments in USANA, paving the path for all those who aspire to make it big. Duarte has been in the top income earners in the Philippines for 10 consecutive years, part of the Fortune 108 for 8 consecutive years, 4-time Asia Pacific top income earner, also placed second and third in the Asia Pacific Growth 25. He is a Dr. Wentz Vision Awardee, a USANA Foundation Ambassador, Champion for Change Awardee, multiple elite bonus recipient, and a member of the $1 Million Club since 2014. He now has established multiple corporations and is the founder of Icon 111 Foundation. He has been featured in Entrepreneur Philippines as one of the most admirable business person and awarded as 2020 People's Choice Award, Most Outstanding Influential Organization, and 2020 Kanal ng Bayan Award. Grabe, bigat. Okay, that's a heavy credentials. Okay, and he's also a founder of the DYP organization and is a consistent altruist to several charities in the Philippines. So please, friends, let's all welcome a full-time family man, life coach, and motivational speaker. Kindly welcome our executive 2-star Diamond Director, Duarte Recalde.
Hi to everyone. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Ronnie, and good morning, DP, and good morning to all Usana associates. So, yan. So, narinig ba ako? Okay, nawala kasi yan. Alright, so yan. So, very exciting day ngayon, especially for me. It's been a long time. I didn't talk sa international convention training. My last talk in international, I think in Malaysia, in Jakarta. Yeah. So anyway, so hello to all Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. I think all over the world. All right. So here we go again. It's very, very. I hope you can catch up because I'm not good. You know, people know me. I'm not good in speaking English, but it's okay because that is not the basis only for you to become successful. All right. So anyway, so how do I start? So I know you're excited, DK. Your training is very 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 inspiring, and I learned a lot also. And you know what? The training of DK is more on it's more on theoretical. And if you're going to follow that training, if you follow that principle, it can help you to grow your business because that is one thing that I've done when I started. That at first, I'll show you something. Wait, I will share my slide. Wait, choice. Wala yung slide. Wait. No, nawala yung ano ko. Yeah, hindi yung account, yung login about the, no, sorry. Yung isang account ko na natanggal yata. I can't get in. Yeah, the Edward. I think you're. I think you. Hi guys. I'll try to log in again. Okay. Maybe you can share my slide so that we can pass. So I'll give you a little history about myself and how I started. I joined Usana way back August 2009. I was invited of one of my colleagues and one of my friends, especially in this industry, which is Billy, Caleb, and Mel Clarion, Mentor Mel, and also Inigo. They invited me, but it took 7 months before they 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 can present it to me. That is too long because I'm so skeptic because after what happened to me because there's several times I failed so many times in doing this business so that there was a point that I don't want to do MLM anymore. But until they give me a chance and listen and to understand what is the difference between our company, and I saw the difference. And I'm not regretting becoming a network marketer as my younger age because when I started doing this business, this is the only option. I see hope because I'm not good in school. I am a easy-go-lucky guy, and I studied. Choice is right. 5 years in high school, 11 years in college. I'm more on. I am a stubborn kid that time, but I need to prove something to my parents. That's why when they offer me this kind of business, I find it attracting, and at the same time, I saw the potential. Because one thing I saw in this kind of business is you don't need any requirements for you to become a successful coach. See, imagine you don't need a high grade. So when I saw that, oh, maybe I can easily do this. So that is the start of my journey in this MLM. And you're right, I'm 2 decades in the business. But it's always I always fail because the company is shutting down. I try my best to go up and shut down again until I met Usana. And so, pero I never regret that to see the other company. So because I learned how to differentiate what is the beauty of our company and what is the advantage, and I can identify which is the scam, which is legit MLM, which is not, because of that experiences. All right. So when I joined Usana, actually this is my 2009. I I I I I joined immediately, then do the business, and it's not easy at first. Why? Because it took me almost a year for me to become a gold director. The hardest part is the gold directorship, and the rest is very easy. Because why it's so hard? Because it is first time to everyone. If you find it difficulty when you're starting, it's okay, because it's normal. And if you remember, when you're going to travel to go a place, diba, it's kind of long when you are first time going to a place. But when you're going home, you just wonder, it's so you why you get easily home fast, because you already passed by all the road, right? So, and then 2011, I was promoted as Ruby Director. Then after that, same year, I become an Emerald Director. So after a year, I become 2014, I become Diamond and one-star Diamond. At 2014, 4 years and a half, I become a $1 Million Club member. Okay, and last, to start. Why it took too long? Because there's a story behind that. Okay, so anyway, and don't get me wrong, I'm showing this to you guys because there's a story behind this. I will tell you about the practical practice, what DK is telling you, teaching us. All right, so this is my US International from 2009, growth, 2012 growth AP Fortune, 2013 AP growth AP2 Fortune 100, 2000 Elite Bonus Champion for Change until at this present. And the last rank, the last award is the Usana Foundation Ambassador. So it seems like it's easy to do, right? Every time they people, oh, how can you get that? And how can you get that easily? Actually, it's not. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of leadership. And I always tell them, always remember, our result will directly proportional with our leadership attitude and skills. So before you get the result that you want, you have to ask yourself, do I have a leadership skills? Do I have a leadership knowledge? Am I applying the principle? That's very important. That's the reason why you have to read, attend, learn about leadership. Because it's not easy. Actually, it's not. It's not also difficult, but it's a matter of you don't have the idea how to do that. So people ask me, what is the secret of success? I always tell them, have the right decision. How do I make the right decision? Experience. And people ask me, how do you have experience? How do you gain experience? Wrong decision. So definitely, we learn from our mistake. But you cannot learn from your mistake unless you're not taking actions and deciding to take an actions and taking charge of your business. All right? So you have to take charge in your business. I started to learn how to do that. But first, I just want you to know that there's a one principle that I always follow also. It's about the let's say teka lang, something wrong with my wait. Yeah. All right. So people ask me, yeah, one of the biggest, sabi ko nga, one of the biggest challenge in the building in your business. Do you have any idea? What is the biggest challenge that we can encounter in your business? Okay. Rejection, mindset, attrition, okay, overcome self, mindset. There's a lot of, can you see? There's a one questions, but you have a different answer or issue about it, right? But I'm telling you, the most biggest challenge in our business is dealing with different people. That is the hardest part because our business is building, our business is people. That's why it's so hard. We're talking about leadership. That's why this is the major things that we have to do. All right, dealing with other people. Because imagine there's a different kind of people. Some are manipulative, some are very introvert, and some are very aggressive. Some are very complain. They complain a lot. Some of them are blamers. So imagine that every day, even if it is your downline or a new prospect, you're dealing in different people. And it involves our emotions. And that is one factor that I learned how to manage it. Because I will not base my reactions because they react they react that I don't want. I always think about things, di ba? If I always put myself in their position so that I can easily understand them. And and if you cannot handle 10 people, how can you handle? If you cannot handle 10 people, if you can handle person, di ba? You cannot handle 10 people. If you cannot handle 10 people, you cannot handle thousands of people. Because remember, we're getting people, we are molding people, we are talking to people. And if you don't know the principle, what DK is telling us, you cannot apply it to yourself. You're just hitting, you're just trying to do things and you're wasting time. That's the important way you have to study, right? And sometimes you will talk to a professional. So how can you deal with the professional people, rich people, so that if you cannot approach rich people, you're not going to approach them because they are rich. No, you have to learn how to deal with them. Poor people, how can you deal with poor people? How can you deal with older people? How can you deal with younger people? Diba? You have to understand everything. You have to learn how to deal with them, how to talk to them, how to speak and give ideas using the right words for them. And that is very important in the business. In our business, communication is very important. You don't say what you want, you have to choose what you will say to them. Using the right words, using the right word in the right prospect, using the right word in the right word in your people. You have to be conscious. And there's a one time, I don't know if you experienced this, some of the downline is simple questions. Sometimes especially when I first time in this business, I was so irritated. I don't know how to handle them because they keep on asking. Diba? I'm so irritated. I don't want to reply sometimes. And that is one reason why my business doesn't grow. That is one reason why your business didn't grow. Because maybe you have to improve more in communicating and dealing with people. And this is where charismatic that is very needed. And I learned how to. Charismatic is not just having a good looking, right? Charismatic is something that you need to have in communication. It's how you communicate. It's how you communicate and how you interact with other people. All right, so that is first that you have to learn as a leader. You have to deal. You have to learn how to talk to them. All right, and this is what DK, how to communicate them. This is what I'm doing. This is practical. Practical. I'm talking about practical. If I have a downline, I did something that they don't expect that I do. Because if your people saw that to you, and that is the time you will gain respect to them. Do something that they don't expect that you will do it for them. For example, I have a downline. Maybe he's $1 million club. When I starting this building this business, at first we're not earning, and he's not earning. But I saw his potential. I saw his aggressiveness to do the business, and he is not just my direct. He's my direct sponsor, but he is just referred by some of my friend, one of my friend. And after that, so that means we are not close. But you know what? I spend time with him. I always talk to him. And one moment, during the Christmas time, December 2009, he has no income that back then, and he resigned to his work, and he has no money. Imagine, it's Christmas time. He has no money. He has nothing to give, and imagine that. And I have an income back then, not that big, but I gave it to them. My income, I started giving it to them, and they were shocked when I did that. That is very unusual. And for me, when I learned how to do the leadership, so I started to do that. So okay, maybe I will help this person. My income, I give it to them so that they can celebrate Christmas. That is 24th of December. Before the 25th, I give it them money to spend their Christmas. And that is, every time we talk, he valued that. And that is, now that guy is $1 million club member. He is Rio Gomez. Imagine. So this is very important. People don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. All right? You have to do something different that they don't expect you to do. All right? So, but at my early year, I will tell you the story what happened so that I can the theoretical I can apply it to my stories. All right. So in my early year, I'm so aggressive kasi when I saw you sana, grabe, this is the first time we get people. We have at least the first presentations when I started back then in August. I invited almost 200, I think, 200 people. We rented a place because I invest money. I rented a restaurant and I spent, I think that time I think 10 or 15,000 pesos. So kasi we have a food, we rent a place plus a food. We have a guest. This is a wrong move. You will learn a lot of this. So I invited 10-star Diamond Billy de la Puente to present back then. You know what? 200 people. I spend money. We spend money. Honestly speaking, all of them didn't join. And that's the worst. Right? But I keep on inviting. Imagine from, tapos this is the first time I went to the office. This is the first presentation. This is the first time I went to the office. And in the left, you will see I have 500. In my first 5 months doing the business, I created 555 downlines under my organizations. But the problem, you know what? Before December, they are all gone. They quit because I did something wrong. I didn't teach them. I just recruit. I just get people. That is what you call the old network marketer style. I recruit. I forgot to tell them about the auto order. I forgot to teach them about to upgrade. I forgot everything. I forgot to me also. I didn't study the system of Usana back then. I mean, I was shocked, and most of them believe me. God. And if you ask me, Mentor, what do you feel sometimes giving up? Have you feel that? Yes. During December 2009, I really want to quit because all of my downline are gone. They quit. Well, actually, not all. There's a one person who left. And sometimes there's a voice in my mind. I'm telling them na how I wish this one person will quit. But this person didn't quit. That's why I I decided not also to quit. Because I realized I promised to this guy I will help him to change his life. I promised to this guy that I will do my best because the trust is very important. So for me, the trust is very important. So I stick with my plan and I ask myself, sabi ko nga, I always tell, wrong beginning can never produce a right ending. This one, I may advise you guys, especially when you're starting to make sure you're doing it right. Make sure that you master all the system and don't just get the position. Don't get the rank. Don't just get the rank. It's okay to get the rank as long you you are leveling also your leadership. Because even though you are in the higher rank position, but when your leadership is grade, let's say grade of 2 or 1, believe me, your income will go back to $100. You believe me, your growth will go back. It will shrink. It will get smaller and smaller. Why? Because it's always proportions, your skills and knowledge and leaderships. All right. So wrong beginning can never produce a right ending. So this is what I ask my questions. This is what you call this awareness. Okay. So 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 I start to learn. I start to ask myself, okay, are you familiar in this illustration? Can you see the picture? Yes, okay, thank you. So this picture is you can see this when you are riding a plane. The flight attendant is telling us, the first, this is, which one is the wrong thing, diba? This A, the station B, the A or the B, which is the right? Can you type it? A or B, which is the right? Put your mask first before helping others, right? Because most of the people are thinking is they want to put the mask first. Diba? They want to put other people's mask. Right? You cannot survive in that way, especially when you're parents. The flight attendant will tell you, or before you wearing your mask, diba, wear your mask first before wearing your children's or anyone. It's the same thing in the principle of building your organizations. You cannot teach that you didn't know. You cannot give that you don't have. So all you have to do, you have to master all the skills, the system, and this is what I'm trying to learn when I'm starting building again my business. Because I was wrong at my first time. That's why improvement, always remember, start with the letter I. It's not your downline, it's not your upline, it's you. Because your business always start from you. Okay? So you have to master all the skills needed and the leadership that you need to acquire. All right? Are you learning? Okay? You know what? It's very easy to get the $1 million club rather than speaking that way. All right. So anyway, improvement start with the letter I. At least I am improving. So anyway, so let's proceed. All right. You know what? When I study, I learn how to manage people and how to talk to the people and how to collaborate with other leaders. I learned how to talk to the management and ask the system, and I collaborate with my system. And you know what? Everything changed. Everything changed. It's easy. That not time I can say it's easy to do the business. It's easy because you know. I know you watch Michael Jordan, Kobe. If you watch them playing basketball, para it's for us it's easy. For them, if we watch them, it's easy. They are very graceful, but when you are doing it, it's so hard. Why? Because they practice everything. They practice hours and hours and hours. For example, every time I want to do new sport, believe me or not, I spend at least minimum 2 hours to practice certain sports. For example, right now I'm practicing airsoft, so practical shooting. So I always practice. I make sure that I can practice 2 hours a day because you cannot master skills that you can do only once a week. If you want to be good presenter, you present every day. Make yourself a quota. So believe me, you will become, and your downlines will follow you. Okay, so this is, imagine after a year, I have 141, oh no, no, 141, 168,000 downlines. Imagine from 500, I have the big attritions, and only person left. And after that, right now, I have 141 downlines. All you have to do is to learn the business and learn what skills you need to improve, what mindset do you need to acquire, and what attitude you need to acquire. All right? Okay. So always remember, crisis arise, leaders rise. Diba? This is very important. This is what Adiki telling us a while ago. So when crisis arise, leaders arise. You can see if you are a true leader when there is a problem. Leaders arise when there are crises. Some of the leaders, it's so funny. Before I was like that. If the situation is good, oh no, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I always there and what do you call this? Very active. And the situation is okay. But when it's not, believe me, most of them are not. You cannot see them. You cannot talk to them. And if you ask them, they pass to another person. No, no, no. It's them. It's them. You bring other people. Now, as a leader, always remember, learn how to solve problems. The reason why I get all the result that I have, I love problem because problem makes us grow. Because I always remember the greatest test in your life will be the greatest testimony. God is testing us to become better, right? So if I were you, you are in the right situations. If you are in the crisis, this is the right time for you to step up. That's why imagine I've been and I've been not naman lying low, but I'm not growing, but I am status quo. My income is not getting low. It's very solid because I did it right. But when there is a problem, especially what happened in the pandemic, I decided, and I talked to Mentor Caleb, Usana needs us. We need to create a platform that we can touch other people's life. So we created the It's Time. Because this is what you call service. You will not earn. You will not earn this. But believe me or not, we don't have earning. We do this for service to our Usana associates and for them to get a momentum. So we always train people. Not only It's Time, but I know some of the leaders, you give trainings. When sabi nga, there is leaders always solving problems. Diba? You think a lot because problems are there to be solved, not to pull you down and not to because some of people, if they have a problem, they will stay at home, they will not do the business. Diba? And that is so, for me, they are not a leader. I don't spend time with them. But I know they will learn. They have to discover that because I discovered that before I let people do, and I let people to do that. And some people, there was a time in service we're talking about service. There was a time that service is Sometimes you are not feeling well, but you keep on doing, right? Sometimes, even though you're not well, but because there's a people in front of you, you will still continue teaching them, inspiring them. And sometimes, if you feel something bad happened to you, like what happened, like what yesterday we have a guest, is Twinnie. Yeah, she has that situations, but she never let show to other people that she is not feeling good that time. But she continued running as a diamond director. That's what you call me. The more problem, the more we become stronger. That's the true leader. So if you're in your case, something pandemic, people doesn't have money, huh? True leader will find a way. Will think about something that why what can people can do to have money to do this business. Because people don't buy actually. People don't buy what you do, what we do. They buy what our why. They buy our why. You know what? Yun, they buy our why. Your stories, your visions. So you have to tell them. All right. So be a servant. Leaders, you serve even though it's raining. You have to go out. Right. I remember my downline doesn't know that I have no money. That's our last month. But we have presentation. I let them eat. But if they ask me, oh, do you eat already? Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. But you know what? I'm so hungry that time. I'm so hungry, but I always think about my people. Oh no, if I'm hungry, they are much more hungry, right? And so it's very difficult. Some downlines didn't know that. You don't need to tell that you are in the bad situations. Diba? And I have a scenario when I started doing Usana. I'm in the one place and coffee shop. Because before I started Usana, I have a big debt. It's almost 3 million pesos. And I have a civil cases. Imagine that I have a civil cases. And the lawyer and the policeman, while I'm presenting, I'm assisting my downline. While I'm presenting, the policeman came to our table and talked to me. And I stand up and we went to somewhere far from my guest. Then I explained it to them. That is very hard. But I talk to them, explain it to them. Then after that, I go back to my prospect and I'm telling them, oh, who's that? I go, I just tell other stories. I don't tell them that, oh, I have a big debt because I'm talking about your life will change if you do this. But I have a lot of problem that time. And there was a time also that I don't have, because I'm from Pampanga when we're going to Manila. There was a time that I'm praying that I'm praying because my gas is not hope it's exactly enough to travel. And it is traffic. Imagine if it's traffic. So I'm praying, oh no, Lord, please make me help me to go home because it's traffic and I have the exact gas. And when I don't have cars, my downline doesn't know that I'm suffering. I have, I have, I have, sorry, I have emotion because I remember all the sacrifices when we are starting. People doesn't know that. Yeah, people doesn't know that. They all, as a leader, you always show them that you are strong because you know there's yun. Because you know you have people are watching and they have dream also. So that you have to fight for them, for their dreams. It's hard. And this is what I'm doing right now. It's hard for me because I'm speaking English. That's the reason why I'm crying. No, no, no kidding. Right? So you have to serve people. You have to serve people. You have to help them. Yeah. Even in spite of you're not feeling well, in spite of you're in the bad situation, you have to step up for them. Not only for them, but you have to think about your family also. That's why you're doing it. And that's the reason why DJ is telling you about that journey. You have to love your people. Because you cannot do this business if you don't love people. If you don't treat them as your family. And the only thing that you have to do that is you have to show them, bring them in your life so that they can see the importance. They can see and you are giving them modeling. Become alright, people don't follow what you teach, they follow what you do. Alright? So you have to show them also how to have a good family. You have to lead them also because they cannot do their job properly if their family is not involved in understanding the business. Because there's a lot of rejections, there's a lot of it's very hard for them to work. Believe me, it's very hard for them to work if someone is negative. So try to help them to talk to their family and teach them how to be a good husband to their wife. Because if their family show changes to them, believe me or not, they will support them. If you're kung if you are the children, if you are the daughter and the son, diba? If you have downline, tell them to become good son to their parents. Diba? Kasi if they saw changes in them, their family will support them. Because the number one will discourage them is their family. So show them how did you do it. Practice at your home. Because the first leadership will start at your home. Okay, it will start from your home. So you have to talk to them. Okay, you have to show them how to be careful. You bring them to so that they can see how you handle your family. Okay, I let my life open to everyone. Some people telling, "Oh, don't tell them to your whole stories." I don't care. Some people will say bad to you, even good or bad. But I always think, but if some people will learn about my stories, I will share it to them. Right? All right. Then teach your people, help your people. Teach them, train them in the business. Okay, we're talking about the business. Train them in your business. Okay, so teach them what skills do you need. Show them. If you want to teach them how to present, you first to present. Don't delegate as soon as possible until you are so tired of doing it, until you have lots of people to talk, and that is the time you can delegate. But if you have only one person to talk to and you will tell them, "Oh, you talk." And I'm teaching you how to present. No, that's not the right way. The right way is until to the point that you are on your, your body is so tired. That is the time you can delegate. And that is the time people will follow you. People will listen to you. Okay? So that's very important. So, and also teach them, this is a Philippine money, but I have nothing to think about what money. So this is more all about, I saw this money because teach them how to manage money. Show them the details, how you do it. So this is a business, they have to learn how to do the cash flow. Teach them how to do that because that is one thing why people don't push you because they don't have a cash flow and they think they waste their money. So make them realize, educate them when it comes to money. Teach them how to do that. So compute all the expenses. make them realize, especially the leaders, make them realize how much you earn, how much is your target, how much is the expenses you need, and how much you need, and how much work do you need, how many points. So you have to teach them everything, especially your core leader. And service is always service is more on giving to other people. That's the reason why every time I talk to my colleagues or my friends, my family, I go, why are you helping a lot? I'm always telling them because I know how to be poor. I am poor before. I don't have money, and teach them about that. Right? Sabi nga, diba, to learn to give not because I have, but to know it feels to have nothing. Yeah. It's easy to share if you belong, if you experience that. Right? But I go back here, and the most specially is God. Teach them. Well, anyway, don't get me wrong. I know we have different religion or sector, but whatever sector you are or religion, teach them to be much closer to God, because I believe He is the one who gave us blessings. Okay, I remember the verse Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom, and that is the starting point why my life changed. Imagine I have I'm a black sheep. I have no directions, and I don't know how to lead. Right? I don't even think that I'm leading right now. I don't even think that I will inspire other people until to the point I met Susanna, until I met this kind of business. All right. So guys, before that, I will especially service. I'm talking about service. I will show you something. I don't know. I can share it to you, pala. Anyway,